Hi, welcome to Great Goodness. We're so glad that you're joining us here today. We have Malaika Albrecht as our guest, and she is going to share her goodness with us, and we cannot wait. We're so excited. That's because we know Malaika, and we know that it's going to be amazing. So I'm Angela Dribben, and this is
Karen Stewart.
Yay! I didn't interrupt. And if you like what you hear, then please comment and show Malika the love and respond to all the goodness that she's showing us and subscribe so you get to see the people who are coming. We've got a lot of people signed up and we just we just want to share. I mean, this is so exciting to be able to share people's light and joy and all the goodness that they're putting into this world. And make sure you stay to the end because we will have a prompt and you don't want to miss that. So we'll get started with Karen sharing an oracle card.
All right. So today, this afternoon, I'm going to pull a card from the Urban Crow Oracle deck.
Mm,
And this is, I love this gal's work. She's an independent. She does the whole thing. She dreams up the cards, does her own illustrations, gets her own printing done. She's awesome. So MJ Cullinane is her name. And you can just Google her and go to her website and see what she's got going on. If you would like to do that, I highly recommend it. She is very groovy.
yeah.
So I'm just going to do my awkward version of shuffling the cards a bit. And so we're just gonna see what the card where it takes us. It's totally intuitive, just whatever we make of it. All right. Oh, here we go. Oh, lovely.
That's pretty.
Self-interest.
Hmm.
So here we have a lot of crows.
Beautiful.
Can y'all see
Is
that
that
okay?
watercolor?
I'm not sure what her medium is.
It's so
Um,
stunning. I was trying to figure out if it was acrylic or watercolor.
I don't know, but I'm just gonna zoom in so y'all can
Gorgeous. Look at all
see
the
it.
symbolism in there. That's Yeah.
Right.
fabulous.
So
I'm
great
really kind of
flowers.
hoping
Are
that
they?
you get some crows here because I have a lot.
Well, I was thinking the crows might appeal to you, Malika.
They do. You
Oh,
called it.
okay. Well, I just noticed the one crow seems to have a mouse, is taking the mouse for a little journey.
See it? Oh, I love the crows. They save our chickens. When there's a hawk, they'll let you know. And
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, they're
Crows are
amazing.
fabulous.
They have
They'll,
different language for fox than they do for a hawk. I always knew what predator because of the crows. Isn't that
they're really
amazing?
smart. They'll bring you gifts. We have a trickster one that was messing with our Christmas decorations last year, which was quite fun. Yeah. So, it's we're just whatever energy that brings to you, just to
Oh, that's
ponder this afternoon.
Well, it's funny because self-interest is seen as such a kind of heading towards egoism. And I think that in particular, women are shamed for putting self anywhere close to others.
And
So I
isn't
love
that
that
weird?
this it is because,
It's very
if your
weird.
cup is empty, you have nothing to give. And so
Right.
there is a responsibility for self-care. And you oftentimes hear people quote, on an airplane, they say, put your mask on first and then help your child put it on. And it's not
Right.
simply, part of that is you're modeling, right? To do
Yeah.
that. And you would want to teach your child self-care, self-interest,
Yeah.
to be curious about oneself.
Right.
No, I think you're absolutely right because as soon as I saw self-interest, like the good little girl in me who's been trained recoiled. Like I did. I
Right.
mean, I'll just admit it. And I was like, "Ooh,
Right. Like that. It's a bad thing. Oh,
yeah,
that's
I
a
feel
thing.
that so
It's like,
hard."
shh,
I was like, "I'm sorry I brought this
self-interest.
to y'all."
Yeah. No, no. But if you look at it too, I'm like, self-interest. Be interested in yourself. It's really
Yes.
important.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yes.
Yes. And isn't that like where we like to me, like whenever I'm creating, whenever I'm doing anything, actually this right now,
Yeah.
it's I'm hoping that my higher self, like my best self, whatever you want to call it, like that's
Right,
what's coming forward and I want to be interested in that part of me. Like that's important for me
right.
to be me, but for me to be what I'm supposed to be in this world. Like,
Yeah,
Authenticity. And
yeah.
that for me has been a word that comes up so often recently. That when we align with our true self, having some self-interest and self-curiosity and self-exploration, we can bring that to wherever we are. And there's a genuineness then that shows up because we're showing up
Yeah.
with
yeah.
interest. So I love that. This is a
I
good
think it's,
discussion already.
I know, right? See,
It's
thank you,
resonating.
Urban Crow Oracle. Ah, I'm going to hold that in
Okay.
my heart.
Yeah.
This is a good transition to introduce our beautiful, wonderful guest. Malaika King Albrecht served as the inaugural Heart of Pamlico Poet Laureate. She's the author of four poetry books. Her most recent book is The Stumblefields, Main Street Rag 2020, which was a finalist in the 2021 Eric Hoffer Award. Her book, With the Trapeze Artist Trust, Press 53, won honorable mention in the Oscar Arnold Young Award, and was a finalist in 2012 Next Generation Indie Book Awards. Her chapbook, Lessons in Forgetting, was published by Main Street Rag and was a finalist in the 2011 Next Generation Indie Book Awards and received honorable mention in the Brockman Campbell Award. She's the founding editor of RedHeaded Stepchild, an online magazine that only accepts poems that have been rejected elsewhere. And that's where you ended your bio, but there's so much more. I was like, I had to check. I was like, did it not all print out? I mean, so I mean, so I'll hope that you will tell us about that, and I'll let Karen tell us about some of it too.
There's a lot. There's a
Right?
lot. Yeah, Malika is one of the most interesting people I've ever met in my life. So, Malika, I was like, okay, I don't want to just get on there and babble and say more crazier things than I usually say. So, I'm like, I'm just going to write a few little things that I want everybody to know. So, the first thing I started with was this is all true. Actually, I pretty much ended up with a bunch of adjectives. But I did want to say, I want everybody to know Malika is not only one of the grooviest people I know, she's also the most generous of heart person I think I have ever known.
Mm,
And it's true. So
mhm.
I just want everybody to know that this is my version of a introduction, right? But I go on, so I'll just babble for a minute. I feel like Malika is intentional with how she is in this world. She
Mhm,
embraces joy, but she doesn't look away from sorrow.
mhm.
She's compassionate, ethical, and hilarious at the same time. Open-minded, diplomatic, but truthful, kind, but for real,
Mm,
and so much fun and totally heart-centered. Malika seeks out truth and embraces it. She creates and she shares, and she lifts other people up into their sharing. Malika, you are pure shine. Your poetry is pure shine, and you lift people up into their pure shine.
yes.
You are beautiful. And I am reminded of the quote, we see in others what is so true for ourselves. Because as you're talking, I'm like, that's how I feel about you. And it's how we say whenever, and Angela knows this, is why you two gravitated towards each other. But
Mhm.
whenever Karen shows up in a room,
Yep.
immediately it feels warmer.
Yep.
I mean, it does. There is
Yep.
sunshine, literally sunshine in the air
A
with her
thousand
presence.
percent.
Okay,
And
Absolutely.
that's
Angela
y'all.
and I
That's
have a
y'all.
lot in common with, yoga background and interest in healing, and I know you do as well. And so I'm not surprised that you two have created great goodness, and I'm thrilled to be here. And it was very kind of you to honor things that are very important that I aspire to. Um, like you were saying, Angela, about a higher self, that there is stopping that has a pause that has to happen, that allows me to funnel those aspirations into presence. And sometimes we can get there and sometimes we can't, right? Sometimes we have something that's blocking our heart. I mean, I feel like, I don't know what, I'm going to tell y'all something that this is really way off of what I would normally say. But I have been working for a long time in therapy with childhood issues and my complex post-traumatic stress. And I talk a lot about being a survivor and being a recovering addict. And I feel like my goal so much as I head towards 60 is disarmament, a shedding, the things that have held me at arm's length from my experiences, other people, from life. In ultimately, we always are walking in some way naked into every situation, even if we feel like we've put on some kind of armor. And I think finding the comfort in that is a goal of mine now, is what I would say.
That's a great goal. I love that.
It's what I aspire. Again, that hope, that desire, and I don't feel I appreciate the fact that my younger self was able to protect me and to build these things in order to navigate life. But there are things that no longer are needed that I can let go of. And so, that's what I would say. A lot of the work I do now, there are the crows. You hear them?
Oh, wow.
I'm going to count that as confirmation.
Yay.
A lot of what work now is coming back to essentially what y'all were kind of saying, authenticity. What is that? I love it.
It's your backup singers.
I love it. And that is not a signal of fox or hawks. My chicken babies will be coming at the end of this month. So I'm looking forward to that. We have finally built the coop, but I just want to thank y'all for creating this space and for inviting me to come hang out with y'all. Really, I would have done it no matter what.
Malaika, you just do such cool things, and you're so you just make spaces for people to be creative and to share their. You have to talk about the RedHeaded Stepchild book launch things you have been doing for how
5 years.
Yeah.
It'll be 5 years. March 13th was our very first one.
Oh my goodness.
It was Friday the 13th. And Celestine was the vice president. I'm going to pull my sweatshirt off real quick, guys. Sorry about this, but y'all can get a view of the farm. I wanted to bring you out to my favorite place in the world. My minis
so nice.
this way. I built them a little backyard. This is their porch area.
Nice.
And they can't stay on grass too long. All of them are minis and they blow up on air. And then that is the pasture for my big girls. They're my big dirty girls.
Nice.
And so this is where I spend most of my time during the day, working with the horses and still we're doing a lot of work on barns and things like that, trying to make their habitat as natural as possible. They are who teach me lessons about how to be connected. And I would say that horses have taught me more about connection than therapy could have. I think. And I've been lucky enough to see that be true for other people, working as an equine specialist in mental health and learning and working with therapists with equine facilitated psychotherapy. That's where so much of the magic happens. And again, that's about creativity and presence, authenticity. If my insides don't match my outsides, a horse knows. And they're less concerned with, like, if I'm scared, that's fine. But if I hide my fear, they're going to pick up on the elevated heart rate. and I'm going to read like any other predator, right? Because predators get really still and hide their true intentions before they pounce. So then I become unsafe because my insides don't match my outsides. So if I say, "Oh, I'm feeling really scared right now. That horse seems whatever intimidating," I've just come into coherence, or I'm being my insides match my outsides. I'm being honest. I'm being authentic. A horse will oftentimes sigh like, "Oh, thank God. I thought you were going to eat me."
Well,
And then if I practice mirroring with horses, I'm basically saying, "I see you." And
Mm.
when I do that, they know immediately that I am showing up, watching, and intentionally saying, "I'm safe." And so I think that's taught me something that I want to carry in any space I inhabit.
yeah,
You
absolutely.
do that.
And I think people like I think people respond to that. I think I just want to say I hear like everything that you have said. I mean, it just really resonates with me. And I that's how it's often really scary to tell people how I really feel, but
Yeah.
but what I find is that if I show people who I really am, if they're a safe person, this is going to be okay. And I already know if they're not a safe person in any way. And so I may as well show who I am when I know you're not. And then they are going to open up, and then that's where we can connect and where we can be.
Nice.
And my gosh, it's such a relief when someone does that.
Yeah.
When someone does that for you, when someone just says, "Hey, I'm feeling this," and you know it's true and you know it's real and you know, ah, the relief. I feel like just like that horse, like, "Oh my God, I thought you were gonna eat
I was
me."
just thinking you're not going to eat me.
Yeah. Oh, I just really feel that. And
Oh, that was beautiful. I love how you came to that. I love
Yeah,
how
that was a good. I enjoyed watching that, Angie.
it's beautiful. No, it was beautiful.
to
And I
say, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say it was really beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
How you and there you were illustrating the self-interest, the curiosity about the experience. Yeah, I just
Yeah,
had
right.
one fly right overhead. I don't know if y'all saw the shadow. Ah,
So
that's awesome.
I have to say now, the redheaded stepchild, the book launch, that was my first book launch. And I was
Was it really?
terrified. Yeah, I was
Great girl.
terrified to ask anyone to have me. Like, who would want me on a book launch? Like, what am I, like, who am I to ask this? And I reached out and asked you, and you were so kind, so receptive. You
I
made
was
me
so
feel,
excited.
oh my
I was so
goodness.
thrilled. I was like, "Yay,
Is
she wants to come on and do this." To me,
Yeah.
it's a great book, and it was so exciting that you were willing. And then you came on and knocked everybody's socks off.
yeah, Angie, that's where I met you, right? Was in
That's
that
where we
book
met.
launch.
Yep.
Oh, shut the door.
And
Yes, and
look at
Christy,
that.
I
Yeah.
mean, so many, Regina,
Yeah,
I mean, so many. I mean, come on, we have had a blast with that. There are over
yeah.
350 videos.
Wow.
I don't know what the last count was on that YouTube channel. I don't know how it happened. I just said yes and kept saying yes. And I was thrilled that you were willing to come on and celebrate. I love your cover still. I find it so evocative for that book.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Um, there was something
Yeah.
else I was saying with that. I know what it was. I think something that I've begun to lean into as well is my old tape used to say, "What if someone's not safe?" And I now believe and trust my own ability to keep myself safe. And you
Mm,
hinted at that, and I wanted to just touch at it again when you say, "I would know, I will know." And it
Yeah.
is that knowing, not
mm-hmm.
saying it's about me, but going, "Oh, that person isn't available."
Mm-hmm.
It's not
Mm-hmm.
personal, but understanding that the vulnerable risk that we're taking is in part one that still has, what do you call it? A harness.
Mm-hmm.
We're not climbing that wall freehand. It feels like it, but there
Yeah.
is some a harness. There's our own knowing and our own understanding that we are worthy and deserving of people that greet us, right?
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
ones that aren't for us. And actually, it just hit something. The quote I wanted to share with y'all. Sorry
I
about
knew, I was like, there's going to
It's
be a,
coming. It's
yeah,
that.
coming.
And I've been obsessed with, and I've been sending to the people. I may have posted on Facebook,
you did.
but I'm sure I did.
Yeah.
If it's the one, oh, I may not have put this one. You
Okay.
deserve to be in environments that bring out the softness in you, not
Oh.
the survival in you.
Mm, mm.
Mm.
Oh, that's not the one you
Yes.
posted, but when you said that you had the book Black Liturgies, I was like, wait, I just saw an amazing quote from this. Wait, it was on Malaika's page. And
Yeah.
and like and
I know
so
which one you're talking about. I pulled that off. It can feel foolish to pause to marvel at the stars when the whole world is burning, or to find the world beautiful when you've known it to betray you. But
yes.
Mm.
wonder is a liberation practice. I want to say that again. Wonder is a liberation practice, a reminder that we contain more than tragedy. Beauty is our origin and our anchor.
Mm.
It's
Mm.
our home.
That's good. That's good
It's our
stuff.
home.
Yeah.
Yes. And so obsessed with that book, recommend getting it. It is Black Liturgies, and it's Cole um oh, Arthur Riley. Somebody new to me, but I just have been looking at some of the quotes and I'm like, I gotta get this book now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Will you say we okay, it was really funny because the quote that you read first, I was
Yeah.
actually like I had something in my mind and it was totally related to that quote. I wondered if you would read it again because I feel like I
Yes. It'll hit back to home for you.
would,
Okay.
well, no, just because I want to hear it again.
Oh, you deserve to be in environments that bring out the softness in you, not the survival in you.
And I feel like you spoke to this already because you were talking about, you know, the way that you can approach things now. And
Yeah.
I was thinking about this as you were talking, like and I talked to you about this earlier today, Karen, because I was in this situation where 10 years ago I would have been like,
Yes.
what?
Yeah.
Like, and I just would have come out like, that's all I knew. That's all I knew was I was
Yeah.
fighting. I was fighting for my life at every
Yeah.
point. Like, if
Yeah.
there was any threat, and now I know I'm okay. I got this. Like, I don't,
Yeah.
That's it. It's a
I
different
got
take.
this.
yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
Yes. Feel that hard. I
yeah.
Yeah.
feel that hard. And not I got this in the this way, but I got this in
I'm
this.
okay. I
Yes.
can deal with this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can be a witness to your journey on this. And you know, that's okay. Like it's just totally different. Man, I love
That's a powerful
Yeah.
50.
thing you just said. It's a powerful thing you just said. And I want to come back to it. You said, I can witness this, or I can be a witness to your journey.
Hmm.
You're making space for that person to be where they're at too.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that
So
I think is transformative.
Now, I did not realize, I guess I assumed like, but I didn't realize, and I wondered if you talk a little more about equine therapy. Like
Yeah.
are you doing that? Are you offering that? Like what is that in your life?
So
Where
the
is that?
history there is actually, another. So I Forrest Gump my way into all kinds of fun stuff. I do. I think there's no other way to say it. And I have what amounts to employment ADD. I'm a yoga instructor, Yoga Alliance registered, Reiki practitioner, former rape crisis, chemical dependency counselor, equine specialist in mental health and learning, certified therapeutic riding instructor with PATH, which is the Professional Association for Therapeutic Horsemanship. So how that all the riding and the equine started. I rode as a child, was obsessed, loved horses, never had one, but would ride anybody's crazy horse. I only recently broke a bone too, well, that I knew of, but that's another story. But I had a horse that I had gotten my daughter. She had had a bad fall. She'd been thrown, and the horse's name was Rosie. And my daughter quickly outgrew her. And I thought, well, now I have, a horse that is slow. I don't know what to do with it. And the place where we were boarding, this goes back almost 20 years ago, probably more, was becoming a satellite office for therapeutic riding. So teaching people with disabilities how to ride horses. And they said, could Rosie maybe be tested to see if she would make a good fit? And I said, that's a great idea. So I went and we tested, and I mean, it's the only place she ever scored 100. She can win a turtle race now. And so they said, fabulous. She's great. We'd love to have her. And I was like, yeah, of course you can. They said, only problem is we could use some volunteers. So would you be the leader? Would you be her leader, during the lessons? And I was like, let me look at my schedule. Sure. Hey, kid. And so that's what we started doing. And maybe 3 weeks in, they said, our only instructor is pregnant. Can you go get certified as a therapeutic riding instructor? I said, sure, no problem. Mm. It was actually like hard. It really was really easy. But so, then I became a Special Olympics equestrian coach and
whoa,
manager. Yeah, to Raleigh, doing Special Olympics. And then I ended up as a executive director of a nonprofit, Rockin' Horse Ranch, where that's what we did. And that's when I got the minis, because I wanted to do a Minis on the Move program so we could go in nursing homes and into the hospital. Then the mini horses got deputized. They're like famous on the dodo. Yeah, no, I live a crazy life. This is why you can't make this stuff up.
And this is your bio that you sent.
This is great goodness. This is the great goodness right here.
Yeah.
It's the crazy ride is what it is. Yeah. It's so much fun though.
I mean, Malaika, your story it always ends up being you are in a situation, you're open to it, and you go with it, and somehow or another it is inclusive to other people.
Freaking magic happens.
Yeah,
all I do is
that's
say
like
yes.
Every story. Every story is like, well, this was happening, so I did this, and then these people came and we all did this. It's how you roll. It's fabulous.
So much fun. It's so much fun. Basically, yes. I mean, I think that's a perfect way to say it. I say Forrest Gump because you just inexplicable, amazing things happen. Yoga, my daughters ended up also becoming yoga instructors because I had a yoga studio at my little farm for a while, and I miss my yoga class. I really do. I had a great group of people that came regularly for yoga classes. I haven't started up back here. I'm going to really focus on my dad. This, that's and this farm. So I, am still certified to teach therapeutic riding. I trained in Williamsburg, so I'm not far from where I started. Mm-hmm. And it was invaluable for my youngest, who y'all are going to see in a minute, I think.
We just saw.
Well, yes. Yeah.
Who has epilepsy, and I ended up, becoming a part of it. Took riding lessons, therapeutic riding lessons, and speech therapy started at 2. But on the horse would just blab. The movement of a horse. There's a lot to it. There's so many levels. We could talk about the mechanics of the body, the mind and brain and body connection, how horses are rhythmic and rocking. It's like being held, right? Mm-hmm. Also that movement can help fire things in the brain. It's bilateral, crosses the midline. There's so much to it. It was a great thing for the family too.
Yeah.
And they prefer the word, they ended up volunteering at some point and are very connected. This is their normal time to walk about and see everybody. Taking a break from grad school.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
What are they studying? Can we
want to be a librarian? Want to be a librarian?
Oh,
that's their dreams. I know. And what's so crazy is, this was a child who was nonverbal till 4 or 5 years old, and a lot of people had thoughts about I'm not anti-labeling, but I think that we never know the possibilities within any
Yes.
human, and never
Right.
underestimate the ability of the resilience of the human spirit, the miracles that can happen through all different modalities. I would
Yes.
never recommend one over the other. I would say find what works for you. What's your wow? What's your
Yeah.
wow? What's going to spark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for them, it was a lot of body movement, speech therapy, medication for epilepsy, and not anti-Western medicine. They are also a Reiki master. Um, yeah, yeah. That was the
Um,
other thing. It was very important for me not just to have experts work with them, for them to become their own experts in their
yeah.
own journey, is what I
Yeah.
would say.
Self-interest.
Yeah.
Damn, who knew that
Well,
word had
there
Yeah.
we go.
Karen?
It's
Wow.
Wow.
self-interest, right? It's
Now,
back. It keeps coming back.
Self-agency. That's interesting too.
yeah.
Self-agency is completely tied to self-interest, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Now,
So
Malika, do you think now's a good time? Didn't you bring a poem to share?
I did indeed. I did bring one that
Okay.
let me see if I can get to it. I probably can if I there we go. I wanted to read Is There Singing at the End of the World because that is the new series that it's part of the new thing I've kind of been working on. Um, and this was one of the first poems that came from that. And it does have an epigraph. It's actually from the Siculus epitaph. It's the world's oldest known musical composition. I don't even know how I found it, but is there singing at the end of the world? While you live, shine. Well, you all are doing that. Have no grief at all. Life exists only for a short while, and time demands its toll. And that is from the oldest known musical composition. They say one spring there will be no blessings, no bees sleeping in the yellow throats of daffodils, no spring peepers heralding rain. Silence. I know there are ways to exit a body that look like standing still. There should not be ways to enter my body uninvited. One daughter once asked, should I hide in a locker if there's a shooting at school? My other child legally changed their name, and these words put them at risk. We have had more mass shootings than days this year, 10 seconds to midnight on a doomsday clock, and has been for years. But today is Valentine's Day, which means my sister will be busy as a magistrate dealing with domestic violence. I've written obituaries for several versions of this world. Perhaps it's as my friend said after returning from war, we're always at both ends of the gun. When I listen to the oldest melody in the world, Hurrion Hymn Number 6, written almost 4,000 years ago, I thought we've been writing the ending for so long now. Oh, sacred geometry of dandelions, you've caught us, scratching our matchsticks on the sidewalk again. If it's hard to sing with a piece of the universe caught in your throat, you can hum.
Mm.
Oh,
What? Okay. Oh my gosh, Malika.
mm. Oh, Malika.
You muted yourself. You have to unmute
Oh,
yourself.
oh, still muted. We didn't mute her, did we, Angela?
No, but I'm sending her an ask to unmute.
Hitting that. Oh,
Oh,
There.
there
that.
you go.
Yeah,
Woo.
okay. I was gonna say
Okay.
I'm not sure what I did, but I suddenly couldn't find the Zoom.
Mm.
I'm still having trouble finding it. I think it's because it's so bright out here. But I did not
Yeah.
realize that poem was going to hit as hard as it did. Because it's so much more dangerous now than it was even when I wrote this poem
Right.
Yeah,
for my child, my
Yes.
youngest,
yeah,
with all the yeah, I mean, just for so many people that I love, it's exponentially harder. Um, and scarier.
Yes.
And
yeah,
how do you hold the idea of presence and hope,
Yeah.
while not turning away from the reality of things that are really, terrifying. They
Mhm.
are.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm
No.
asking that question.
No,
Yeah.
okay, good. Go
Yeah.
ahead,
Okay.
Karen.
No, I'm just babbling. You might actually have something
You're always
constructive to say.
eloquent. You're quotable all the time. Yeah. Do you want to say something? I don't want to take that from you.
No, I'm just thinking about what Malika said, and just when you're reading your own words and it touches you to the point that you have to stop, that is
Yeah.
some powerful, great goodness right there. That is like it's some truth, and to be able to create the words that give that a form, and then to share it with yourself, hearing yourself speak it, and then share it with us is like so. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it
do
is the
think that's the magic when I am with other poets that read something really close to the bone, and I see them show up in the words as they're
Mhm.
reading. It's to me, it's almost like double exposure. I mean, the words themselves were already written; they already went to that place, and as they're reading, they're showing back up.
Yeah,
It's a lot. It's a lot, and I think that's why poets in other countries are, oftentimes um, silenced or
Hmm.
um, killed in the past. And people, I remember having an Iranian poet friend of mine say she had to be very careful. And there may come a time where,
We
that's
have to
true
be
here.
careful. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 And so I think that there is a beauty in providing space for creatives. I mean, that's why, he took over the Kennedy Center because,
Yes.
it's about controlling the narrative, and creativity is not going to be controlled like that. It's not. You can try to silence it, but it'll go
It,
somewhere.
yep.
Yeah. I wanted to speak to a couple of things, but like one of the things that you just said, about like how do you show up, with joy when and not ignore the reality of it. And like that was for me one of the reasons I wanted to do this, uh, because I I feel the gravity of the reality. And
Yeah.
all I know I've written letters, I've done that. I get the most ridiculous responses from my representative. I'm like, who and the what?
There just can't. And I almost wonder now if they're not using AI.
Oh my, this was the most ridiculous. I mean, this isn't about that. I'm not even gonna, but okay. So, but, and so I was like, how it had to have been AI. I'm glad you said that because I was like, this is stupid.
Let's just go
That's
with
Like,
what I
that.
would
It's
think. I was
like,
somehow
gonna say that's
it's a little more comforting to think surely a human didn't actually
didn't you didn't
say
write
do
those
this.
this.
words.
Yeah. And so, okay.
Let's just go with AI.
But I thought, what can I do? Like, what can we do? And when I was with Karen doing a podcast about poetry, there was so much light. There was so much spirit. Like it was just so vibrant and alive. And I was like, well, if we create more of this, then there'll be less space for that darkness. And
Right?
Yeah.
that's
I wondered if that was the inspiration. That was my sense when when you reached out to me, and I saw the title of Great Goodness. I was like, of course this is it. This is beautiful.
Yeah,
But
I mean
that makes sense.
yeah,
Intentional
it
creating
expands.
space.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what
Create
you
it,
do.
expand it. That's what light does. Light wants to expand. Light doesn't just hang out at the end of the candle wick. It's
No,
not
it
right
doesn't.
there holding on
It
to the wick.
doesn't. Yes, it doesn't
It's
contain itself.
no, it will light the whole room if you let your eyes adjust to it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what
Oh,
light
I
Oh,
does.
love. Now say that again. Say it exactly how you said it.
Oh, with the
It will
candlewick
light
thing,
the
it will
whole
light
room.
the whole room if you let it. You
But
just,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
yeah.
So, okay, y'all. Well, we're at our end. We're at our time. And and there's
How
so
did
much
that
more.
happen?
There's so much more
Oh,
I
that's
want to say and
perfect. That's
talk about,
beautiful.
but um okay. And so now it's time for a prompt. And I have been stealing from the people that we have been recording today instead of doing my I've been borrowing. There's got to be a better word. I don't know.
Well, expanding.
Yeah, I've been
I,
expanding.
well, I mean, yeah, I love expanding, but I mean, it's found art, right?
Yeah.
And I
It's
Sharing.
love found stuff.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's reusing,
Yeah.
repurposing. There's all kinds
It
of
ramps
phrases
up
for
the
that.
energy, right? Because you take it in
Yeah.
and you
Yes.
interpret it and then you send it back out.
Okay. So here's your prompt. Okay. And listen, this is the thing. You can dance to this, you can play music to this, you can write, you can collage, you can draw. However it is that you respond is how you want to do this. But this is one of the first things you said that I thought about. So I feel like something's trying to get me to not say this.
Interesting. Uh-huh. Stay with that.
Okay, I'm going to say it anyway. So, disarmament.
Yes.
I want to use that as the prompt. What color would it be? How does it feel in your body to be armed? How does it feel to be disarmed? What do you
Mm.
take off? What do you put on? Who can you disarm with? Is there a season to your disarmament? That's what, how does it feel? So if you dance to that. What does it feel to move in a disarmed way? And that's the prompt for today.
Ooh, I love that.
Well,
And
Yes.
the throat chakra is very important. Speaking our truth, right?
Yeah.
Part of the reason my thyroid's blown out. The joke being you know, what's your autoimmune disease if you're a survivor?
right.
That way, I love
Thyroid
what you
therapy.
got from that. I love the images that you added onto it and the questions that you asked.
Yeah.
I'm not a dancer, but immediately thought of dancing. I'm like, why would you do that?
Why
Okay,
wouldn't you? Because you're
What?
disarmed. That's why you
Yes,
would.
right?
Yes.
Oh, I love
true.
it.
That
I
is
love
the
it.
most, oh, that's funny. Yeah.
So Malika, we loved having you here today. This
Oh,
was
thank you so much.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna do from what we heard from our show earlier today. It's just that good. Or if this
Oh,
isn't goodness, I don't know what is. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And
If this
this was
isn't goodness, I don't know what is. Yeah.
yeah.
that's a t-shirt right there.
I know. So please comment, please share, please subscribe. And if you're someone who's putting goodness out into the world, we want to talk to you. So reach out to us. There's a way to get to us in the about section. We're not hard to find, and we will respond. We want to talk to you. Thank
We're
you all.
everywhere.